Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. I got a question in the comments section of one of my videos asking me what I was doing for the African American community. And I'm well versed in this question when it's asked, because whenever African Americans ask this question, it means they are very upset about something you propose in your video, and you're making a criticism about something that really upsets and offends them. Now, this is a question I can easily answer because I've been doing a lot for the African American community over the last 16 years. Now, back in 2000, when I was a part of the AmeriCorps Vista program, I was working with the Strive Job Readiness Workshop to help them increase their resources so they could recruit individuals from the homeless population into their job readiness workshop. And while I was working at Strive, I worked with many participants who were ex-offenders, drug addicts, in rehab, single mothers, and many of people who would be considered unemployable. And I learned a lot from those people, talking to them and interacting with them, and with the trainers in the program, and many people at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop. And I was doing a lot to help my community, to help them get their resources increased so that they could try to help many more of what would be considered unemployable people try to find work at that job readiness program. That was just one of the things I was doing to try to help black people. The other thing I was trying to do was, at the time, trying to get my resources together so I could start writing positive black fiction. This was around 2000, 2001, and I was working on my first two books, and I was working towards building myself up so that I could go get my books out there. And when I saw that the trade publishers wouldn't do it, I decided to take the last $200 of the $600 I had saved up, and I published my first book. And I was trying to create positive black fiction for people then, and I'm still trying to create positive black fiction now. And what I'm trying to do with my fiction is I'm trying to diversify your Afro-American book market so that readers can see different kinds of titles in genres such as science fiction and fantasy, and I'm trying to present stories about black culture that you don't see usually presented, because according to the white liberals' narrative for the African American culture, all we are a bunch of hip-hopping, bebopping thugs, or strong independent black women who can't get a man. That's all you see in the trade publishing book market from 2000 to about 2007, and now from 2007 on, all you see is dope dealers and thugs, and black women swirling with white men. They don't write books about the goth subculture like I would. They don't write books, again, about black fantasy like I do. And they don't try to present positive images of African Americans at most trade publishers. So what I am doing right now is trying to present a positive image of African Americans out here so black kids can get a balanced and humanized image of themselves and see themselves reflected in a way that presents them positively. That's another thing that I'm trying to do right now, and trying to make sure that black kids see all of their black culture, not just the black culture that is presented to them by your white liberals, which pretty much puts black culture into a box and pretty much shows you only one side of black culture, the side that they feel comfortable with, not the side of what we really are. That's another thing that I've been doing for your black community. In addition to the books and my work at Strive, I have also been writing a blog for the past 7 or 8 years. And on that blog, Shawn James Black Freelance Writer, I wrote numerous blogs about issues going on in your black community. And a lot of the blogs that I did about men's issues have had a tremendous impact on men, not only in the black community, but men all over this world. And men have learned from my blogs how to do things to get their lives together. And they've learned also from books in my series called the Simp Series, where I pretty much presented a series of books featuring what not to do when you're in social interactions with women, in books like your Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, your Manginas, They Look Like Men But They Act Like Ladies, and your Misadventures of Captain Save-A-Ho, in addition to the book I did called Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And all of these books, in addition to my blog, have had a tremendous impact on men all over the world, in addition to men in the black community. A lot of men have come to me on Facebook and said that they have learned a lot from those books, and they've sent me emails saying that they've learned a lot from those books. And in addition to the work on my blog, I have had men come to me on Facebook, and I have mentored men and helped them with their careers. I have helped men, get their jobs and keep their jobs. And this is all while being out of work myself for the past 7 or 8 years. And I've been out here trying to help black men and black people with the best way I can. But according to many of these Negroes, unless you're out here like you're Dr. Martin Luther King making big speeches, or you're Al Sharpton marching, you're not doing anything for the black community. No, you have to be out here marching and protesting, shucking and jiving in order to say that you're doing something. And the white liberal media has to present a picture of you in order for people to say you're out here making a difference. Well, I have this to say to you, Negroes. In order to have an impact, it's not the big things you do, it's the little things you do. And the small things all of us black people go out here and do have a huge impact on our community. Unfortunately, most people are looking to make a statement with white liberal media instead of trying to make a statement to ourselves about what we need to do for ourselves. Because the small things guys like me do are the actual heavy lifting that is being done in your community. The small things guys like me do in trying to publish our own books, trying to write articles and blogs to motivate black men to get their lives together, taking a moment on Facebook to talk to a young brother about his career, or try to talk to them about keeping a job that they didn't like. That's the stuff that has an impact on people. That's the heavy lifting. And that's what I learned at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop over 16 years ago. All those trainers were doing with those ex-offenders and single moms and drug addicts and all these other people who most of society considered dysfunctional, and the dregs of society, all that was the heavy lifting that people did to help people get their lives back in order. And that's what I learned at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop, and that's what I'm doing right now, even with my own literature and writing and my own blogs and these YouTube videos, which people say have no value to them. And this is the big problem with the Afro-American Negro. They don't see the value in the work of another black person. No, they're too spellbound by the idea of fitting black into white that they're looking for success to come only one way, and that is being somebody who is on the news, somebody who's on television, somebody who's seen by the entire world. That's considered successful to them. They don't see the work of a guy like myself or David Carroll or Akwesi 100 or many of these other brothers like Jay Miller or Harvey Superboy as having an impact. This is what we call heavy lifting. This is what we call hard work. Educating people and trying to help them get the information that they need to make those differences in their own lives. This is what heavy lifting is. But the Negro doesn't value heavy lifting. What are you doing for the black community? Again, it's the little things black people do that have the biggest impact on their community. It's the little things people do that make a difference in the black community. It's small stuff, not big stuff. And a lot of people, they're still thinking that they're still looking for some big savior to come and do something for the black community that totally changes the black community. No, that has never been the way things have been done. If you look at history since the Reconstruction, when the black community was at its strongest, it was always the efforts of small people in the community that had an impact on the community. If you look at neighborhoods that were strong black communities like Sugar Hill and Harlem, they were made strong by small working class individuals who were making efforts to do small things in the community that had a big difference on everyone and had an impact on everyone, because they understood that it's not the big things that make a difference in the black community. It is the small things that make a difference in the black community. It's things like taking a minute to talk to one of these brothers out here. It's taking a minute to go out here and, try to present a positive image to black people. It is going out here and trying to help some black man or some black woman keep a job that they want to sit and quit because they had a bad day at work. And it's taking a minute to listen to many of these black men and black women out here and then make a video that talks about something that they can relate to, something that may make a difference in their lives, and may help them, provide them with a solution to something in their lives. That's what has an impact in the black community, not some pastor making a big speech, not some big prominent civil rights guy talking about the white man. It is black people going out here and making a difference in the lives of black people. And if this is not enough for black people in the black community, then I'm sorry. I'm just going to do I'm going to do what I do here. And if you don't like it, you can just click out of the video. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.